Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Daddy Mickey.
And welcome to Kiddynomics. Yay! Welcome back to another fun-filled Friday of kids' financial literacy with Kiddynomics. Hey, everybody. Hey, Akira. Nice to have you back this week as usual. Hey, everybody that's just joining in. So if you are new to Kiddynomics, because we had a bunch of signups this week. Hi, Kelsey. How are you? Please let us know. Hey, Joshua, please let us know in the chat box and just say that you're new, and all the kids will welcome you in the chat box if this is your first time. But of course, if it's not and you've been here week after week, we love you for being here. Welcome back to Kiddynomics. And let's get started because we have Miss Andrea joining us back this week. Woohoo! So excited when we always have Miss Andrea back on Kiddynomics. So this is the start of our 3-part series. It's the first time we're doing something like this on Kiddynomics. So this is like having, what is it, HGTV? HGTV, which is awesome because, you know, like we're doing our own little series here. So we're going to do our own little series about how to flip a property, okay? Because we're going to go back to real estate and we're going to do part 1 is with Miss Andrea. And we're going to discuss how to buy a real estate property to fix. And then I will talk about the other 2 parts at the end of the webinar, okay? So I will get into Kiddynomics. Give me a second. Let me share my screen. Share.
It's cold down here.
All right. Okay. So welcome to Kiddynomics. Before I get into our housekeeping items, let's discuss what Kiddynomics is all about. Do you want to read or do you want me to read?
You can read.
Okay. Kiddynomics is here to help kids ages 8+ to develop a healthy relationship towards financial literacy, helping to start kids off on the right path to have a successful financial future. That's what we want for you and Miss Andrea. And that's what I want for her. And that's what I want for everybody out there, right? We want everybody to have a super successful financial future. And that's what Kiddynomics is all about. So housekeeping items before we get into roll call. First off, please remember that every single Kiddynomics webinar is recorded. So if you miss something or if you come in late or you missed this week, don't worry, we do record them and it is uploaded to our Kiddynomics YouTube channel. So you can always watch back this webinar and all of our other webinars that we have on the channel. We have a lot of content there, so please never feel like you are lost. You can always go back and watch any one of our other Kiddynomics webinars if you feel like you want to get caught up on certain things, okay? So it's always there for your availability. And this webinar will be posted by about 8 p.m. tonight. That's Eastern Standard Time. So you should see it on our YouTube channel then, okay? Also, we always want to maintain a healthy and safe environment here on Kiddynomics. So we never want to see in the chat box because remember, we cannot see or hear any of you kiddies, right? So to keep the chat box healthy, we want to, and safe, we want to make sure that nobody ever puts in any of your personal information, right? So I never want to see ages or, you know, your personal addresses or email addresses or phone numbers. Any of that stuff should never be in the chat box, okay? And then always, please remember that we do have kids younger than 8 and older than 13 on Kiddynomics. So please be respectful of everybody's comments, okay? And just be nice, right? Okay? Be nice and kind to everybody because we are all here to learn and have fun while we do it. And financial literacy is so lit. So be nice. All right. So let's get into roll call. Let me open up my chat box because the chat box is very lively already. There's a bunch of messages. I'm going to have to go back. All right. Tell me where you guys are joining from today, which countries, and go. Let me see. Joshua, Canada. Akira, Canada. Oh, Linda is on Kanto. Yay. We love that movie in our house. Timlin, you're saying something about a teenager. Hold on, I missed
Yes.
it. Kelsey, you said the solar system. Which solar system? There's plenty. Marlon, you said Canada. Anaya, you say Canada. Markel, you said Toronto. Akira, you said actually what? Timmy, you're saying world, North America, Canada, Ontario, Burlington. Timmy, you're saying Canada. Brielle, hey Brielle, Mars and Canada. How come we never get any of the other planets in our solar system? Like we never get like Venus.
We got one Venus.
We did?
I think.
Oh, look. Okay. Well, look. Okay. So we got Pluto. So Joshua saying Pluto and Brielle saying Pluto. Oh, Marlon says the Milky Way. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. And of course, oh, France. And of course, did we miss any birthdays from last week to this week? So we can wish you a happy, happy, happy birthday. So please chat. Please let me know in the chat box. Did we miss any birthdays? No, we said the moon. Oh, but yours is coming up. Okay, who said that? I think that was Joshua. Okay, Joshua, you let us know when your birthday is actually coming up and we'll wish you happy birthday, okay? Natalie, my name is Danny. Okay, got it. Danny, you know you can change your name in the on your if you go into the 3 boxes to your top right, I believe you'll be able to rename yourself if you want to be called Danny, okay? Awesome. Anaya, my birthday passed. Okay, sorry, Anaya, happy birthday. If you weren't on Kiddonomics, then when it was your birthday, happy, happy, happy birthday. I would love to get the birthday song, but you'd have to have rights to it, so sorry. All right, okay, so there we go. That's the chat box for roll call. Let's get into it. All right, so, oh my gosh, I forgot Mickey again. Okay. Mickey, where are you from today?
I'm just gonna do Canada.
Canada?
No special places.
All right, cool. High five for that. Canada. Canada's repping today.
Mhm.
All right, okay. I'm gonna try to remember next week, not to forget,
Okay.
Mickey. Gonna try. All right, let's get into it. Miss Andrea is back on Kiddonomics. So those of you that are not familiar with Miss Andrea is diverse from teaching and fostering little ones to financial services to investing in residential and commercial real estate. She owns 2 corporations and also her partner and I also partner and co-own a 3rd business with her sister-in-law that is dedicated to helping others build wealth through real estate. And that's what we're all about here today on Kiddonomics. So let's give a big Kiddonomics round of applause. Miss Andrea.
Thank you.
And I'm going to stop my screen share there. There you go. Hi, Miss Andrea.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Stacy and Mickey. I'm excited to be here again. Wait, was it 2 weeks ago, maybe? I was here?
Yeah.
2 weeks
Long
ago.
time no see.
That's right. It's been too long. Yeah, I think last week was chess, right?
Yes,
Chess?
last week was chess.
Yeah.
That was really fun. We learned a lot about chess. And we learned,
Awesome.
as usual, because this is financial literacy, but we also learned how to make money through chess that people may have not have thought about.
No.
So you can make a great
Awesome.
amount of money in chess,
Awesome.
even as a
Good.
kid, right? Right.
Yeah. He's like, yep. That's good. Awesome.
Awesome. So you can go ahead. I'm going to monitor the chat box and
Let me see.
go ahead and why can't I get into why is my chat box not showing up? Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. Okay, you can go ahead, Miss Andrea, and I will fix chat box.
It's because
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you, as I said, for having me. It's real estate is my passion and my love. So here today, we're going to talk about flipping a property. So flipping meaning buying the property, whether it's a condo, house, whatever, style property you want to, and we're going to turn it around in a short period of time and use it to generate income, right? Or maybe, generate wealth building. So my goal always in real estate is, in general, I've always bought and held real estate for a long time, because that's one way to earn and build wealth through real estate, but you can also build it through flipping and many other strategies. So today, if you've always thought of how could I make money in real estate outside of buying and renting them out, this is one strategy. So let's take a look at that. Stacey's already done a really good job of introducing me, but I love to say why I do real estate or why I'm building wealth, and that's my family. So my husband and my girls, and those are the reasons. I mean, even my husband's parents and my parents, I want to be able to make an impact on not just our lives, but their lives as well. And so, I come from a school teaching background, so I've worked with children of all ages as well. And so I understand that children are very smart, which I think is fantastic here, Stacey, how you've set it up so that you can start to expose them and, help them develop their minds about different things that they can do outside of, traditional, go to school and maybe become a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, or, or a mechanic. Like, you can build businesses and you can do that through real estate. So let's take a look at some of what we'll cover today. House flipping. So we're going to look at what that means, because you may have heard of it before, especially if you watch some of the television programs or you're on YouTube. We're going to talk about how you can find the deals, because a deal in real estate is ideally what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to find something for maybe slightly less, especially when you're going to try and flip it for something less than maybe what it would sell for in the market if it was in really good shape. Because usually flipping means that you're buying something that may not already look that good, or it may maybe be old or dated, or even in rough condition. Maybe it's, the former person who lived there wasn't caring for it. And so you're trying to find a deal, whether it's on market or off. Location, of course, is always important. You've heard it before: location, location, location. And so we're going to look at what that means when we're talking about flips. I'm going to cover some tips that will help you be successful when you're flipping. And then what makes a property good to flip? Like, what is it that you're looking for when you're getting that property? And so what is house flipping? Because it's not like the gymnastics that you know of, or, doing some tumbling on a field or on a mat. It's when you, as I said before, when you're buying a property and your goal is not to hold on to it long term. You might be buying it with just the intention of fixing it up and turning it around. Then, you buy it, then you fix it, then you relist it and sell it at a profit. And before you sell it at a profit, you must know quite a bit of information about it, because you don't want to be that person that buys it and try to resell it in a short period of time and find out that you can't get the price that you thought you would be able to get. So you really have to understand quite a few things and quite a few aspects of what you're doing before you pick that property up. Your goal is, of course, to improve it. So if the property is maybe in rough condition, because it could be a new property, but just it hasn't been well cared for, or it could be a property that is 20, 30 years old and actually looks like it's 20, 30, or maybe older, then you can absolutely turn it around in a short period of time in most cases and make a profit. So, and in all cases, when you're doing it, you absolutely want to make sure that before you buy the property and before you start to do the renovations, you want to make sure that you can actually earn what you were expecting. And so with that, flipping houses is definitely a knowledge base. You have to have quite a bit of information before you can, enter into purchasing that property, because just like buying any property, you're usually buying it and you don't have 100% of the money, which means that you have to borrow. So if you're borrowing from the bank or a lender, you want to make sure that, and they want to make sure too, that you're able to pay them back in full, whether it's paying them back on a monthly basis. Yes, we've got a question, Stacey.
We do.
Miss Stacey?
I think Timolin wants us to go back one slide, if you don't mind. And they just want to, because the kids do write down all the information. Okay. They take notes so that they can bring it back to their parents or whoever it is, and for their own information. And then I did have a question on the next slide while you're on this slide about knowledge. How does one go and gain the knowledge if you, because knowledge is so important. So where would you start to gain that knowledge?
Yeah, so to flip a house, I think is one, like, you definitely want to have some knowledge about how to flip. And so to me, the knowledge for most of my transactions usually comes from partnering with experts. So people who know and understand what I don't know and understand. So for example, the knowledge from a realtor is really important, because that realtor, that real estate agent, is going to be able to help me understand the prices and the value of that property in that location. That's one expert. So we are always in real estate partnering with experts. Another expert would be a contractor. So getting knowledge of what it would cost, for example, to do the renovations, so that when you're looking at the numbers, it makes sense. Because you and I alone, as we look at it, we can't.
Oh, you froze there, Miss Andrea.
We might look at it and think, oh, there's just painting here and some floors there, and that's only about 10,000. But we don't know that for sure. Better we get the experts in, especially the person who's going to charge us, to assess. And that knowledge may come from not just one expert. We may turn to several experts to get their opinion of what the cost would be, so that we can decide based on 2 or 3 different quotes what makes sense. So knowledge comes from partnering with people who can help you get the job done. Another expert in this is the lender, like the actual company that's going to help you finance. Because if they're willing to help you finance the property and the project, it also means that they feel and they have faith in the deal, that it can work. So usually I say, for knowledge, I think personally, you yourself as an investor, especially from a financial services, like a lender's perspective, they want to know that you have experience doing this, meaning that this is not your first time out doing this type of deal, or that you yourself are invested in real estate. Because a lot of the times they feel that if you have experience and you have skin in the game, you have money in real estate investing, then they feel there's more comfort and willingness then to move forward to finance your project. So does that help you understand what we mean by knowledge?
It does for me. How about for you? Yeah. Does everybody understand? Oh, Timolin wants us to go back one slide one more time, Miss Andrea. Mm-hmm. She has 2 more words to write in.
Okay.
We will give you a few seconds. Micah says yes. Does everybody understand what knowledge you would need then? That's why we're doing this 3-part series. Miss Andrea actually touched on all 3.
All of them. There you go. See, those other 2 experts are so crucial in this process that it's not fair for me to come here saying, oh, I know everything. Or even when I buy the property, that I know all that is required. I have a good sense of what's going to be required, but I will absolutely turn to those experts to help me figure out, the cost of the renovations, the mortgaging, and the financing, because even all of those things will reduce what I can earn. And so that's part of the next step. Did we get that? Everyone got the notes here?
Yes, I think everybody got the slides there. I love Joshua's comment as you were speaking. Yes. He said, make sure there aren't more problems, or else that might make the cost even bigger. So that's where the
Yes.
knowledge comes in to make sure of what you are buying.
That's right. And so, Joshua, another way to reduce the hidden things that you can't see is to get an inspection. So if you have an inspector, that's another expert that we turn to. And what before we sometimes close the deal, we can have the inspector go out and uncover things that we may not be able to see, like in the electricals or in the roof, right? Because I don't usually get to see the roof. The electricals, I can see it, but I still can't understand because a lot of it is behind the walls, or it takes that expertise that I don't have and possess. And so that inspector can help you understand that, hey, the roof is really bad and it's going to need doing, and there's going to be a furnace replacement and all these, they might identify 5, 6 other things that you didn't see. And that would factor into the cost that you might offer for that house when you're buying it, right? So you're going to pay less. It's going to reduce the cost to the seller, and you yourself will then feel more comforted buying that property. So yeah, there's a number of experts that I haven't mentioned here. Even another expert that you might use is an appraiser. So I want to know that if I'm buying it at 100,000 and I want to fix it, spend 50,000 to fix it, and then sell it back at 250, I want the appraiser to be able to tell me that those numbers make sense. So
Yeah.
we do call on a lot of experts to help us make sure it's a successful experience. And that takes planning again. And so it's not something that you go into and just expect that you could just figure it out as you go, because you're likely to fail and not be successful. And maybe even cost yourself and potentially put the risk to the other individuals that are involved, like the banks, at risk. And so you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you plan. So before you get started, you want to think of all the different experts and all the different parties that will need to be consulted to help you make sure you're successful. And so that's why I say, you have to be savvy. Okay. That savvy is, yes, I possess some knowledge, but I don't have it all. I don't know it all. And that's where I would then go to the different experts, like the mortgage broker that's going to come on after me, and the contractor that will come after to help you understand how successful that project can be.
Yes, absolutely. And if anybody missed Miss Andrea's definitions, we did have, Miss Andrea, you did the buying your dream home.
Yes, I did.
And we did go through the definitions of what is an appraiser, what is an inspector. Yes. So you can always go back and watch that one to go through some of the definitions. But if you had any questions on the definitions for some of these experts that Miss Andrea has mentioned, please put it in the chat box and we will go through those ones. Yes. If nobody is aware. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Miss Andrea. You can go to the next slide.
Yeah. So outside of, knowledge and planning, which is huge, now you understand that it's so critical to have all these other individuals that will make it successful for you. Now you can actually start shopping. Shopping sometimes is the fun part, right? Because now you also know too, from the mortgage broker or the financing company, how much money they are willing to lend you. And so you can start to look at deals, right? And there's 2 ways to find deals. You can check on what we call on-market deals. So when they're on market, it means that they're actually listed where everyone can see it. It's public knowledge, so that you and Miss Stacy and I and anyone else, the contractor, the mortgage broker, the lender, they could all see this property and see all the details about it on the what we call the multiple listing site, which is the MLS. It's just a short form for it. And there it tells you so much of the details of the property that you can determine from that listing, as it can almost answer all your questions, outside of the hidden stuff like Joshua mentioned. It's not going to tell you some of the things that are wrong with it. It might mention a few things like it needs a little TLC. Those types of properties that are listed on the MLS and says they need TLC, or they're waiting for an investor to take them on, those are sometimes really good properties to go and make a deal with, because if it's listed at one price, you might be able to ask them to offer you a slightly better price, knowing that it's not in the best condition. So, because the goal on the MLS is to try and see if you can find a way to get the property at a slightly lower price than it's listed when you're trying to flip. Okay. That may not be the market currently that we're in, but for sure, to flip and turn over a house for a profit, you absolutely have to get it at the best price ever. So to me, on-market deals tend to be priced higher, and they may not always be the best opportunity to make money in flipping houses. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense, everybody? You let me know in the chat box.
Yeah, because that's where realtors and anyone that wants to share a property, they put it so that everyone can see it. You can see it anywhere you are, and you just have to go onto the website or onto the internet and search it. The off-market deals are deals that they never make it to the listing sites. They are private. They may be, someone who's thinking about selling, and the only way that you might know that is because they've shared that information with a family or a friend, or even an agent, a real estate agent, but they don't put it, they don't list it on the multiple listing site, the MLS. And those deals are often good opportunities to buy, again, at a discount, because whenever you're buying a property to turn it over for a profit, you want to get it, if you can. I mean, typically you're trying to get it for 20-30% less than maybe what it would sell for, if it's in really good shape and it's on the multiple listing site that we speak of. So off-market and on-market deals. So if you're trying to find the best price, type it in the chat. Which of these two listings would be the best places to go? Because off-market deal or the on-market deals, where would you get the best savings?
Where would you get the best savings? So Tammy says off-market. Monar says off-market. Mickey, what do you say?
Like where repeat it?
The best deals on the MLS, which is the on-market deals, or the off-market?
The pawn shop.
The pawn shop.
Well, the off-market is like a pawn shop.
Yeah, because off-market.
We can use that analogy. It's like a pawn shop, because you are like the person that's trying to sell it may be actually trying to reduce the cost that they would pay to a realtor, or maybe even reduce some associated costs if they have a bank mortgage on it. So there's a lot of reasons why they might have it on the off market rather than listing it. And so you can absolutely think of it like a pawn shop.
I think most of the kids off market. Markel said off market. Kelsey says off market. To me, Ibby, hi Ibby, off market, off market. But Marlon says it depends if you're going to pay for renovations or repairs.
Well, you would have to do the repairs and or renovations in either, whether you get it on market where it's listed and they're telling you it needs TLC or it needs an investor's eye. I mean, those are usually some of the wording that you'll see, because sometimes they don't even show pictures of the unit, they just show the outside. And that's another indicator when it's on the market and you're not seeing pictures, it's because it's so bad that they're not taking pictures of it. And so those are opportunities. But off market for sure. Another way to get off market deals outside of realtors and friends and family is just to go and knock at people's doors and see. Sometimes the condition of the outside of the house can really tell you if it's going to be a good deal. Like if it looks like it's rough and maybe overgrown, maybe it's got a lot of indication that it's not being maintained. That's typically a house that you might think is, there's some kind of issue around that for the owner. Maybe they're aging and they can't take care of it anymore, but they're just not ready to give up. But if you approach them with a nice opportunity, they're open. A lot of off-market deals happen more so than you think, and you can often negotiate and have better opportunities to get it at a better price. Okay.
So I think we've learned a good little tidbit there, everybody.
Yes.
When you get older.
It's a good tip for you when when you're looking to earn money through flipping and turning over a property quickly. So tips for flips. So we've given you off and on market. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, I think Marlon has a question. Wait, so you don't have to weigh out the money you spend on the house and the money you have to spend to see if it's working. Marlon, can you retype your question for me, please? And then I'll ask it to Miss Andrea. I don't think I got it correct in my head. So if you don't mind retyping it, and then I will.
Can I go get a water bottle?
Yes. And then I will ask it to Miss Andrea. Sorry, Miss Andrea,
Yes.
Go ahead.
No problem. These are easy tips, but they're good. So if you're making, these are good things to remind yourself of if you're ever thinking you want to make a profit on buying a house and turning it around. Never, ever, ever underestimate time that is required. So you might think, oh, I'll buy it today, close it in, close it. And then after closing, I want to spend 3 weeks doing the renovations and then selling it maybe in, 3 weeks after that. I would always buffer or give yourself some extra time. So if you think the whole project will take you about a month, maybe plan for 2 or 3 months, because you can't predict what is going to happen in the market. Maybe when you go to list it to sell, the market is a little slower, or maybe it's winter. And, sometimes not this winter here in Toronto area, but typically in the winter, houses tend to sit on the market a little longer than in the spring and summer. So you always want to give yourself more time, even the cost that you estimate that it might incur. So if you think it's 50,000, maybe give yourself another 10 to 15% extra on that. So plan for 60, 70, $1,000 of renovations, because then when you find out that the cost of construction has gone up, or there's some delays in getting some of the materials that you need, you can account for that in the extra money that you've set aside. So always as a flipper, or as you're flipping, always give yourself extra money to have and extra time to complete the project and to sell, right? Also, don't overestimate your skills and your knowledge.
Budgeting skills, Miss Andrea?
Sorry?
It sounds like you need some good budgeting skills.
Yes. And so if that's not you, again, you can get an expert, because there's people who are very good at helping you project manage. And so you can also have someone who you can get expert advice on how to manage the project, and what kind of, money you're going to need to finance both the project and hold on to it during the time that you're managing the expenses that you owe to the bank or the financing company. It absolutely requires planning and budgeting that not all of us are good at. But just because you're not good at it doesn't mean you can't get an expert who is good at it and invest that money in having their expertise and their knowledge on board when you're doing the project. Also, your skills and knowledge. We don't know everything. It's okay that we don't know everything. We just have to find the right expert to ensure our success. And, we use the experts when it comes to not sure about the laws, we get a lawyer. When we're not sure about, the price of projects, we get the constructor, the contractor, or the construction individual, right? So we just lean to those experts, and there's many experts in these projects. All the more reason for planning and doing the work. So if you wanted to flip, and you wanted to do it successfully, and you're not good at it, who are some of the experts that you might call on? Maybe just type it in the chat and tell us. I've named quite a few of them, but you tell me. I want to see if you're hearing and understanding who are experts that you might
type it in the chat. Okay, Kim says realtor, right?
Excellent.
Fantastic. Who else would we need? You need a contractor. Good job, Marlon. Good job. Who else would we need? Yeah. Who else would you want as an expert on your team? Because this would be your team, right? That you're going to support, right? Yes. To help you get to the end goal, to build your real estate empire.
That's right. You build that team, and this.
I like Micah. That's right. Micah says project manager. Good job.
Why not? Excellent. Good.
A real estate agent?
Yes, a real estate agent. Yep, good job, Nikki. Danny says lawyers. You
lawyers,
always need a lawyer.
for sure.
You always need a good lawyer.
Yes, always protect yourselves. So then, so outside of what we've looked at so far, most important after those other factors is location. You want to choose location because in anything that you buy in real estate, the location can really have an impact on what you can earn and how much you spend, and whether it's going to be easy to sell that property after. So location is very, very important. And you also, while you're looking at the location, and because we're not the expert always, we go to the realtor, like Mickey said, and Micah, we want to make sure that we have those experts because they'll tell us if the property that we're willing to pay $200,000 for is worth it. Or if we want to turn it around and list it after we do the renovations for $400,000, they're going to let us know if we can actually get that. Because if that area or that location that you're buying in, you've put in the $100,000 to fix it and try to sell it now for an extra $100,000 and you can't get that money, then the whole deal can't work. So it's really important to understand the market that you're in and the location. And you're always, always searching for undervalued homes, so that, because the whole point of it is to turn it around for a profit. So if you overpay at the purchase, then you're also selling away some of your profit at the start, and you don't want to do that. And we've already said, having a team, you told me the members of the team that you need. So as much as you choose the right locations, if you don't have the right team and the strength of all those experts, it's not going to be a successful transaction. And I named some locations here just locally, but we're from different parts of the world. Even though the GTA and the Toronto area is an expensive area, there are still opportunities for making a profit on real estate when you buy it, but you have to search deep. And right now the market is not saturated with deals. It's actually very small. That's why I suggested to you the off-market deals, because when you go and knock at someone's door and you ask them if they'd be open to selling, you might be able to strike a deal with them and then work out from there. And it's absolutely possible that you can find multiple individuals in the areas that you're looking, like these areas that I've named, that you can have and line up multiple projects so that you can do real estate flipping as a primary source of income. Okay, so you don't have to think of it as just a one-time thing. You can do it many times over. And we talked about these before. You've seen this before in my previous presentation. Any property type that we've talked about before could be an opportunity to flip. You can take a condo and renovate and flip, a house, or even an apartment building. Yes, Miss Stacy?
So can you go back one slide, Miss Andrea?
Sure.
I think you're still writing. And I just had a question on the search for undervalued homes. How would you go about searching for undervalued homes? Or do you get an expert to help you? How do you go about doing that?
Yes, so I agree. So when I start, I always remind you that our experts, the realtor, is the best way. I feel like if you're new at this, you absolutely have to lean on the expert. Myself, I have some knowledge of the area that I live in, so I understand it really well. But when I start to go, 2, 3, 4 hours away from where I live, I'm not as knowledgeable. And so then I have to turn to the real estate agents in those areas so that they can confirm to me whether that property price that I'm seeing listed or that private price that I'm negotiating even makes sense. Right? So I have to turn to a real estate expert who understands and knows that market, because there's a number of prices that make it is going to be important. The price that you buy at, the price of the renovations that you do, and then the price that you turn around and sell. So undervalue is going to be based on you knowing the area or the real estate agent.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? Please put that in the chat. Or did everybody understand what Miss Andrea has said? Does everybody understand what Miss Andrea has said? Please let me know in the chat. And Miss Andrea, I think you can go ahead to the next slide.
Okay, so any style property is a good property to flip, and even any price point, as long as there's room to renovate and then listed at a higher price. I mean, a brand new condo that has been mismanaged, not taken care of, could still be an opportunity, because likely that person can't sell the condo at the price that maybe is the market value price because it's got damage or work needing to be done. Yes, Ms. Stacy.
Andrea, the kids asked if you could talk a little bit more slowly.
Yes. So any of these types of properties that I'm showing you here, and that we talked about before, can make a good flip. So meaning that as long as the price that you're buying is less than the price that it could be sold in the market when it's in good condition, then it could be a good buy to flip. So it doesn't matter whether it's a smaller property like a condo or a larger property like an apartment building. They all have the ability to flip and make money. Yes, Miss Stacy?
One of the kids would like to know, who said that? Timmy. Timlin said, why is it 1 million for an apartment? It's so little.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you know what? An apartment building can start as low as 5 or 6 apartments in there. It doesn't have to be as large as many of you think of an apartment building with elevators. Apartment buildings can start as small as 2 floors where you just have stairs. And so that's why I use that price point. They can start as little.
I think they were thinking it's just one apartment. You're trying to show the apartment.
Oh, no, I'm saying it's a building. Sorry.
Yes. So Timberland, that it's for the whole entire apartment building.
Exactly. It's for the whole building.
Yeah. But although there are condo units for 1.2 million.
Absolutely. If you're in Toronto, to buy one condo unit in a high rise could be easily $1 million. Yeah. But when you're like in some of I showed you London or Kingston, you can buy smaller apartment buildings for 1.2 mil, sometimes even under $1 million if it's just like a 4 or 5 unit apartment building. They're not as big always. It's not like 20 units. Those are big apartment buildings with elevators. Okay, so let's just look at, and this you might want to write down as well, just so that you understand some of the numbers, because really the numbers is what makes a flip worth it. So this is just a property I chose. It's in Windsor. It is actually listed right now, so that if you're interested in talking to someone about buying it, it's actually, it's really good price. It's $399. I've even seen less. You can buy them for $299. I just like this one because I could actually make this property into more than 1 unit. I can make it into 2, maybe even 3 units, just the way when I looked at it, the basement was large enough. And if you look at the pictures, the basement's unfinished. So I can improve it a lot. Not just am I improving the old dated bathrooms and the rooms itself, but I can also add value by creating a whole new unit. And that whole new unit could mean that I can sell it for a much higher value, because now someone can buy it, live in it, and rent out part of it and get money. So that it brings a lot of value. So when I go to sell this, I can sell it for maybe $650,000, maybe even more, because I've improved the value so much. And I know that I can sell it for $650,000 because I looked at prices in that area in Windsor, and the $399 is definitely undervalued. And so if I spend $100,000 renovating it and adding a new unit, I can then, say, okay, now I spent $400 to buy it, $100 to improve it. So that's a total of $500,000. When I sell it and list it at $650,000, say it sells at $650,000, then I'm really making $150,000 on that property. And that's
not including all the realtor costs, right?
No. I haven't taken into account any expenses like realtor costs or lawyers. So after you take out those, I would want to plan for maybe saying another $50,000 to $70,000 of expenses on the back end when you're selling, so that you would probably be making, even after taxes, it's definitely going to be under 100,000. So you might make around 75,000, 80,000 after all expenses. That's pretty good for one house. Yes. And so if you want to do that more than once in the year, you're going to improve the amount of income that you can earn that year, right? I mean, to earn even if you were to say 50 to 60,000 on each deal, you're doing really well. You do 3 or 4 of those a year, and you've had a really good year. And I just showed one other one. So that was Windsor. I believe this was also another property in, I felt this was Kitchener. Like, I think it was one of the other areas that I was looking at. And I thought the price just seemed really low again. So, so anywhere, like if you're in the Toronto area, you might know some of the names I'm saying. So if you're going to Kingston or Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo, you know, to buy houses under 500,000 is really hard. And it usually means that they're not in great shape. And so they need work. And so again, this house listed at $399, you spend 100,000 on renovations. I'm just trying to show you there's different locations. You can do it anywhere in the world, any part of the Ontario or Canada, and you can still walk away with, after all your expenses and taxes, you can still walk away with around 70, 80,000 on a deal, on a flip.
Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? Did everybody understand so far the numbers behind those deals, the 2 deals that Miss Andrea has said? Not one from me. No.
So, okay. And I wanted to show you, just because in those, I showed you all the before, those 2 deals, because they're not my deal and they're not something I've done. I would have to do the work for you to see. But if you're looking at before and after, sometimes it's like what we call night and day. It's so big, the difference, right? You go from like really dark and dungy to, you know, daytime, bright and beautiful, right? And so it's a big change when you take a house on that is in rough condition and you make it almost brand new again. And that's why you can make big profit. Sometimes I try to keep the numbers real so that you can see that it is very attainable to make house flipping an income source or a wealth building strategy. Because this is just showing you before and after in each of these scenarios. I mean, you're not doing the work, I'm not doing the work, we're hiring and paying experts. And so a lot of it gets, you know, turned around fairly quickly. But the transformation is huge. And so you get a chance to, you know, like have a significant improved property. I usually feel really good to then list and sell these properties, or even to, if I'm keeping them, I'm buying them to hold them. I love the transformation, right, that I get to create and produce.
Anaya says that kitchen looks nice.
Mm-hmm. Like it's somewhere you want to sit and eat now and maybe do your homework. Right. So that's, Miss Stacy, that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if they have any other questions.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, Miss Andrea.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer
any questions for Miss Andrea.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions. Or please even
type that into the chat if anybody has any questions. Lisa says thank you. Timmy says thank you. Just saying thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Pleased to meet you. Oh, Joshua says pleased to meet you.
Oh, thank you, Joshua. I'm happy to meet all of you.
Oh, pleasure. Oh, so pleasure to meet you. Sorry, Mickey had to correct me. Kelsey says thank you. You did awesome. Fantastic. Excellent. All right, so let's wrap up then. Very amazing presentation, says Marlon. Fantastic. Oh, the kids loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it too. Did you love it? Yeah, we learned a lot. We learned a lot. This is our own little HGTV moments that we're having here.
That's right. And I believe that you're going to get some more pieces, more of the, you know, the next steps, yes, so that you can begin to see how the lending and the financing works with it, as well as how that contractor can then turn something drab and, you know, not so nice into something beautiful and amazing. And help you make that profit that you desire on the project.
And yeah, that's what we're looking for this series. It's going to be awesome. All right. Thank you, Miss Andrea. If you could stop your screen, and then I'll share mine to wrap up for everybody.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No.
All right. Yay. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to share my screen. 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, so last question that we ask on every single Kiddonomics webinar is, what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is real change that impacts the world. Because we think all you guys here on Kiddonomics is going to be so impactful as you guys get older and get into the world, and you guys are going to do amazing things, and you all will do amazing things that will impact the world, and financial literacy will help you accomplish anything and everything that you want to do. So that is why this platform is for you. And that is exactly why we call you our Young Financial Literacy Ambassadors. So as an ambassador, you guys are our authorized messenger and representative to tell people about Kiddonomics, right? You tell everybody about what you've learned. I get messages all the time from parents and from other kids that tell me, oh, you know, I've shared this information with my cousin or with my brother or with a friend. And that's amazing. And that makes you an ambassador. You are sharing this information, and that is awesome. And that's why we believe that knowledge is our
superpower.
Knowledge is our superpower. So go ahead and share it, because literally the more that you share this knowledge, the stronger you will become. So that's why knowledge is our superpower here on Kiddonomics. Okay, so the schedule coming up. So we've been talking about, we are doing our first 3-part series here on Kiddonomics, and to tie it all in. So Miss Andrea presented to you guys today about how to buy real estate properties. And then Miss Andrea showed you pictures about the before and the after. So we're going to talk to a contractor next week. His name is Sefton Spence. He's a good friend of mine. And he's also a developer. He develops like subdivisions all over the world. He's doing one right now in St. Lucia,
cool.
which is amazing. And he develops like really beautiful houses. So I'm really excited to have him on. And he will talk to everybody about how to manage a project, right? And what the kind of jobs that you need on the site, and the budgets, and to just make sure that we understand how to renovate the property correctly, right? And so we talked about having the right experts on your team. So he will be the contractor piece. And then the following week, it's a break.
Oh, yes.
Because it is March break, which is maybe spring break for other people, depending on where you are in the world. Like Micah, I'm not sure if you even have March break in England. Do you guys have March? You probably don't.
No.
But for the following week for us, it is March break here in Canada, in Ontario. So we don't have a Kiddonomics that week. So we will be back the following week, which will be Friday, March 25th. And we will talk about the financing piece. So to buy and flip properties, you need to buy the property, you need to renovate the property, but you need to finance the property, right? So we're going to talk about how do you finance the flip. And so that's going to be with Miss Siobhan Bent. She'll be back on Kiddonomics, and she's amazing. So you guys will have an awesome time with her. That is it for the month of March, and then I'll put up the month of April schedule as we get later on in the month, okay? All right, so as always, we do want to hear from you. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, or maybe another series you'd like to see here on Kiddonomics, please send me a message. You can always email me at kiddonomics101@gmail.com. Please also remember to never contact me or do anything on Kiddonomics without talking to your parents first, right? Always have to talk to your parents first before you do anything. And of course, if you do find value in our content, please like and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. That TikTok boy. So please follow us there. And also follow us, because I do put updates about Kiddonomics on our social handles. So sometimes if we don't have a session or something, or whatever, a message I need to send out, it is always posted on our Facebook and Instagram pages for sure. So please make sure you do follow those handles so you can get any messages that I do have about Kiddonomics, okay? All right, everybody, have a good Friday.
Yay.
Thank you, Miss Andrea, for joining us
Thank
again on
you.
Kiddonomics this week. It was awesome to see you and get financially lit with you. You are amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody else, have a good week, and we will see you next week.
Yay.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.